Hello, this is Andrew Harrison. I'm going to do my persuasive speech for you. What I want to talk to you about today is why you should get involved in the public safety matters in your community. And more specifically, I want to talk to you about why you should join a CERT program in your community. So I have here with me today a citizen of Southport, Indiana. Her name is Sharon Alderman. I'm going to introduce you to her in just a moment. I had another citizen of Southport here just a few moments ago, but they had an unexpected emergency. So I'd like to go ahead and introduce you to Sharon Alderman real briefly.
Hi.
So consider this. A disaster has struck your community. All police and fire resources have been deployed. There just simply aren't enough police and fire resources to help everyone. What are you going to do? How are you going to rescue yourself, your family, and your neighbors? To be quite honest, there just aren't enough public resources in our communities today. And we have to be prepared in a time of disaster to handle these types of situations. Take Hurricane Katrina, for example. This was one of the worst and most costliest natural disasters our country has ever faced. It took FEMA 3 days to respond to Katrina. And unfortunately, a lot of citizens lost their lives in this time. So if we had a CERT program, those CERT individuals could have responded to rescue their neighbors and their loved ones. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about what CERT is and why you should join it. So CERT is a member of the Citizen Corps, and Citizen Corps is underneath the FEMA umbrella, and FEMA is underneath the Department of Homeland Security umbrella. So Citizen Corps is all about preparing and uniting a nation. And Citizen Corps has a number of different tools to prepare and unite a nation. One of those tools, or programs I should say, is CERT. CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team. This is a voluntary program that citizens can join and receive training in disaster preparedness, fire suppression, search and rescue, medical triage, terrorism, disaster psychology. There's a number of different things CERT teaches you. So let me tell you a little bit about CERT in terms of its background. CERT really started in the 1980s in Los Angeles after the big earthquakes that really had a huge impact to the city of Los Angeles' infrastructure. If you recall, bridges collapsed and a lot of American citizens lost their lives in that unfortunate event as well. And CERT really took shape in Los Angeles after these earthquakes, but it really didn't spread across the United States until after 9/11. And if you recall, 9/11 is the worst terrorist attack in our nation's history. And after 9/11, CERT really took shape. And I would say that there's a CERT program in every city or town today. And it's fully funded by the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA. So there are monies allocated to every city or town to have a program to train citizens that want to be better prepared to assist in times of crisis. So let me talk a little bit about the CERT training in a little more detail. The training consists of disaster preparedness, fire safety, medical operations, search and rescue, disaster psychology, and terrorism. And then lastly, this is about 32 hours of training, by the way, and it's, again, all free. Lastly, there's a live disaster simulation upon graduation. So you don't really know how you're going to act in a disaster until a disaster hits. And, the fight or flight syndrome kicks in. Some will fight and go and rescue and participate in those efforts, and some will flee for their own safety. So I think that live disaster simulation piece of the training is very, very critical because it kind of gets CERT members a little more prepared in terms of what to expect when disaster does hit. So what you get from this training is all of that additional knowledge that I just described, plus you get about $500, not in cash, but you get about $500 in Homeland Security equipment. So you get a CERT backpack, you get a helmet, you get gloves, you get a wrench, you get a flashlight, you get a weather radio, so on and so forth. And all this equipment is in your handy-go bag that you can keep in your car, and if you want to be deployed when a disaster strikes, you have it. And what I mean by if you want to be deployed, CERT is a voluntary program. So just because you have all the training doesn't mean that when disaster hits, you have to participate, because you may not want to participate. But again, the whole methodology around CERT is to get everyone trained and prepared for that emergency. So in conclusion, emergencies and disasters and terrorist acts are more and more prevalent today, unfortunately. And I think that if we had a CERT program in every community, especially our community, we would be better prepared to handle that emergency. Again, it's a free program, fully funded by the Department of Homeland Security. And if you want additional information about CERT, you can certainly see me after this presentation, or you can certainly go to www.fema.org and receive more information. So I hope you learned a little bit about CERT today and Citizen Corps, and I hope that you will want to participate in this program and gain that valuable knowledge for the next time a disaster or event hits our community. Hopefully it doesn't, of course. So thank you very much. Are there any questions from my audience?
No, thank you.
Have a good day.